Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday, August 21st, 2015. You're listening to Super Organizer Universe Radio, and I am James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. Yes, the Super Organizer. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And if you're listening to this afterwards, like on the podcast part or whatever, thanks for downloading it or going to it to listen to it. I appreciate it. Because again, without you guys, I really am just talking to myself. I can do that at home, right? So thank you. And as I begin my show today on August 21st, I got to say hi to the person who is behind the booth in a mirror that we will see each other. And he's there every Friday with me, Brian.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am tired.
I'm a little worn myself.
It's so I had somebody one time tell me, it's bad etiquette to tell people that you're tired over the radio. I am not a liar. I'm not.
We are authentic people.
Yeah.
We share our emotions.
Well, I'm up because I can't sleep, but you were up for different reasons. You were telling me about it.
Last night I do shows for AfterBuzz TV. Some of you know already. I do shameless plugs. And last night I was doing the Under the Dome after show, which we do from 11 to midnight. And I ran a little over. And it's out in the valley, and I live on the west side. So it took me a while to get home. And so I got home late. And then, of course, you have to kind of like catch the wave of retweeting and getting everybody's talking about it. And you kind of want to catch the wave and promote it. And next thing I knew, it was like 2 a.m. And I had to be up at 7. So there you go, kids. But it felt like I laid my head down, and then it was like, oh, alarm went off. Okay, got it. So there you go. But I am here today because I live in gratitude every day to be here and have a show. And with that, we're going to go right into Thanks and Gratitude, which I do every show at the beginning, where I talk about things that I feel thankful for, because I believe in thanking people and thanking situations and living in gratitude every day, because nothing is promised to us. And I just really I'm so thankful. I'm going to start out with yesterday. It was actually National Radio Day. So I want to give a shout out to all of my other and fellow radio broadcasters out there who, whether it's every day, once a week, once a month, an hour, 5 hours, 10 hours, however long you're on the radio, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate that. Radio is a great medium. Again, it's a dream realized for me to be on the radio, and I appreciate that. And this is the first year I get to celebrate that because I'm on the radio. I was like, wait a minute, that's me. So I just want to say thank you and happy National Radio Day from yesterday. So if you have somebody you like on the radio, listen to them. Keep them in business. Also today, I'm going to give thanks and gratitude to my younger brother, JR. It is his birthday today. I won't say how old he is, but it's his birthday. And he's my younger brother, and he's a very talented blogger, comic book artist, and writer. And he's a pop culturist like I am. We could talk for hours on just about any subject, well, political or anything. But when it comes to pop culture, especially, we're really good at that. We have a lot in common. L-O-T-T, lot in common. And he's somebody that, of course, I grew up with and helped take care of because I was older. And it was his little. He's probably not listening to this radio show anyway, so I can say a few things. One is we used to share bunk beds until I was 18 years old, and there were times we would switch, like I'd be on the bottom, he'd be on top, that kind of stuff. And we had our walls with all our posters up and stuff like that. It was kind of fun. And then I left when I was 18, and then 22 years later I moved back. So we share a house, and it's great. We take care of things, and again, we get to talk and bounce off ideas. It's because of him I have a blog. He kind of told me about it, and I saw his. He's done his for years, and he helped set mine up and gave me great advice and continues to give me great advice that has all been true. Like, he told me he needs to, do a workshop on that because he's really good at that. So I just live in thanks and gratitude because, it's nice to have a sibling you actually get along with. There are a few I just don't give two craps about. But he's one that I like. It's kind of nice to have that. So, happy birthday to him. I also want to give thanks and gratitude to my garden. Yes. People just tell me, oh, I just garden. To relax, I garden. I thought they were crazy. I don't like gardening. How's that fun or relaxing? Oh, no, now I get it. I love being outside. I have a huge yard, front and backyard. And I love being out there. And it really is relaxing. The other day, I had a lot of paperwork to do at home. I have a home office. And in the middle of the day, it was like maybe 1 in the afternoon. It was beautiful outside, beautiful Los Angeles, sunny afternoon. And I was like, I need to get away from this computer. And I went outside. I didn't bring my phone. There was no TV or radio on blasting or anything outside. I went outside and I just watered, not a lot because we're in a drought. And some of my plants also was picking off leaves and weeds. It was so peaceful. It really does calm you down. It makes me just calm down. So I suggest to all of you out there, if you can find something to do that takes you off of the grid for a minute, you'll feel better. And I think I spent like maybe an hour out there. Got some sun. That's kind of nice. And I'm wearing SPF, of course. I don't want to get crazy skin stuff. But I'm out there, and I was like, really, it was peaceful, and just I never thought picking weeds out and trimming bushes. I love it. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have a garden. After living in San Francisco all those years with no yard, I'm really thankful. And lastly, but of course not least, I want to give thanks and gratitude to my physical calendar. Yes, my calendar. I have one online, of course, but then I have one that I got a book, and I write down my schedule. I'm a very visual person, and so I don't know if any of you out there are the same way. I have to see it. For some reason, it actually calms me down to see what I'm about to do or what I have to do for the upcoming week. Joan Rivers, late Joan Rivers, had on her wonderful documentary. If you've not seen it, it's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen in my entire life. She has a physical calendar also. And her whole life was all in that calendar. And it was just funny. I like to see it in front of me. It just makes me feel better, and it keeps me organized. So I found one that works that I get every year, and I really appreciate it. So those are my thanks and gratitude for today. And I just encourage all of you to always live in gratitude every day and give thanks when you can. If it's to a person, place, or thing, just give it. So this is another All Tips episode or show of Super Organized Universe Radio. And we're going to start out with something. We're going to go step by step. I have some things laid out for you today. So if you need to get a notebook or a pen and pad or paper, do so, because I'm going to give you some good stuff. Now, of course, you can find all these tips on my blog, superorganizeduniverse.com, or on my Facebook page, The Super Organizer. So I do post some of the stuff on there. But just to get ready, it's going to go right into it. The first thing I want to talk about, because we've talked about commitment, we talked about getting there, we talked about all these things that are like pre-actual steps to organizing. I want to kind of continue with that and go a little further. I want to give you 5 steps to assessing an organizational issue. 5 simple things that you need to do to assess what your situation is. Okay. 1, to gather information. That's what you're here to do. You're going to gather information. It's very simple. Whether it's your house, garage, office space, car, you're there. First thing you want to do is gather the information that's regarding that situation. 2, define problem areas. In many cases, we'll go with the house first. We'll say house. So problem areas could be countertops and tables. It could be closets. Maybe it's the bed. Maybe it's a room. It could be a whole room. It's like the dining room. For some reason, the dining room is the place where everything goes to die. Just things are dropped off, things are left. Just for some reason, maybe that's the room that's centrally located because you're going from place to place. Let's use that to a car. So a car. Okay, so your car. Problem areas could be back seat. You get in the car, you throw in the back seat. You don't see it because you're not looking at the back seat, so you don't see it. Trunk could be a problem area. Could be the passenger seat because it's nearby, so everything's over there. And you're eating fast, especially in LA. You're eating fast food. the things get thrown on the floor over there. So, everything's over there. So that could be a problem area. Let's go with office. Office. Desk. Usually it's desk. Sometimes it's filing system, filing cabinets. You have those. Again, could be a closet. Could be drawers. So once you define your problem areas, so you're going to be looking around because you're gathering information. That's part of the information is that, oh, the dining room is a mess. That's a problem area. Number 3, determine needs and wants. Now, here's the thing. Now, this is more about you. Remember last week I told you it's all about you. You can say about you, I. Okay, so we're going to kind of continue. This number 3 is about that. What are the needs of that room? What are the wants of that room? What are the needs of the car? What are the wants for, you got to think about that area. For example, I would love to have a dining room table I can eat on. How's that? That's a want. Now, a need could be the same thing. I need a dining room table to eat on. We're eating on the floor, or we're eating on the couch, or we're eating over the sink, whatever it is you're doing. The car. I need a car that's functional and has room in it because there's times I have people ride with me. I want a car that's nice and nice inside and has room and organization in it. So you kind of figure out, it's basically asking you, what do you want? So you're gathering information, you're seeing the problem, and you're defining what the problem is. And now you're kind of going, well, this is what I would like to have happen. Yeah, that's fine. Number 4, to talk about the cause of the problem areas. So there you go. Like, okay, so now you determined what the area is. So we'll go back to the dining room. The dining room is a mess. You'd like to have a table to eat on. So why is that table a mess? Now, it's not about blame. It's not about beating yourself up. Just being honest. Just going, okay, well, this area seems to be the area where when I get off of work, it's the one table that's out there. I drop stuff off on that table. It's just really simple, just being simply honest with yourself. And like I said, not about, oh my God, I'm a horrible person. I just always make the table. No, it's just like, you know what I do? I put stuff there because it's really easy to put it there. I put down my keys, my purse, my jacket, and then I get tired and I go in the other room and I don't pick it up. Just simple stuff. Or, yes, I'm in a car and there's usually no one with me. So I throw all the stuff in the back. It just seems easy. It's a habit. You can even mention, and that's what sometimes you may discover you have a habit. I have a habit of doing it. I stop by Chipotle and I get my chicken rice bowl, and when I'm done, I gotta go to the next meeting. Instead of taking the bag out and throwing it away, what I do is I throw it in the back seat and say to myself, I'll do it later. That happens. So you can talk about the cause of the problems. And then 5, which is the greatest part of all, create a plan / strategy. So now you've gathered information, you've defined the area as a problem, you know what you want, you kind of have an end result you'd like to see happen, you know why you're doing it, and so now you got to create a plan. So the plan is, so basically you're saying, okay, I know I do this, and I want a clean table. So now I got to make a plan to, first of all, clean off the table and put the stuff where it needs to go. And then a strategy to not do it again. Now, be realistic, of course. No one's saying go cold turkey. You may come home one day, maybe once a week, twice a week, you may put down the stuff on there. But at least you'll be aware that you're doing it. So that maybe you'll stop doing it at some point. Right, that's the whole goal. But first, you make the plan to clear off that table or clear out that back seat. So you're going to pick a day, a time, an hour, whatever it is, to do it, first of all. And then kind of sit down and decide, if this stuff is for recycling, if this stuff is to keep, that kind of stuff. Because then you don't want to take all the clutter and stuff out of the car and just put it in the house. That way it doesn't really serve a purpose. So sometimes you may need a super organizer to help you. Or any organizer out there may need to help you to plan a strategy. Because at least if you do the first 4, you're good. And then you can always call someone and hire them to come in and help you plan. But even if on your own you have an idea, that's the whole thing. You're going to sit down and make a plan to clear off that table, clear out that back seat, clear out that closet, and you're going to try to find a way to work it where you don't make it messy again. I think these 5 things are a great sequence to follow. The hope is that it aligns with your objectives in life. And if you're an organizer, you hope that this works for your client. If you're a friend, hope it works for your friend. Whoever, if you're helping somebody, these are 5 things you can use with them to help them determine what's going on there in their disorganization. The whole point of all of these 5 things in the end is that you want to fix the problem. But also understanding the problem is good too, because like I always say before, you can clean a space up, but if you don't keep it up, it's going to get messy again. And then you just wasted all your time. And I don't believe in wasting time at all, because time is valuable. Time is money. Time is everything. So you do not want to do that, of course. So yeah, so you want to gather information, define problem area, determine needs and wants, talk about the cause of the problem, and create a plan or strategy. Those are 5 steps to assessing an organizational issue. Again, you can find them on my blog, superorganizeruniverse.com, if you're like, I need to write this down, or if you need to print it out for somebody. That's a great idea. I always encourage that. So we're going to go to a little commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what being organized isn't.
Hi, I'm Edward James Olmos. I'm here to talk to you about RAD, Recording Artists, Actors, and Athletes Against Drunk Driving. Think about it. You have choices that you can make in your life. Good choices and bad ones. Drinking and driving, bad choice. Why? The life you may take may even be your own. Think about it. Drinking and driving doesn't mix. Get a designated driver.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Welcome back to Super Organizer Universe Radio. I am James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. And we're going to continue our conversation on this All Tips show of Sour Radio. So, okay, what being organized isn't. Let's talk about that. Okay, there's a quote that I like by Andrew Mellon. And I'm going to read this. Being organized isn't about getting rid of everything you own or trying to become a different person. It's about living the way you want to live, but better. They always say you can't run from your problems. You can't mask them either. They usually are somewhere and they'll come out at some point. So I love this quote because it speaks to, most people think when they say I'm an organizer, I'm going to throw all my stuff out. And that's not actually true. You can throw everything out and still be the same person. And again, like we said in the last segment, get messy again. So it doesn't really matter. You just want to live a different way of life. It's a lifestyle. So you want to change the way you live. So it may not be about throwing stuff out. It may be about organizing it better. It may be about throwing stuff out. I mean, it may be both, but that's not the immediate answer. But like I said, when I say I'm an organizer, people are like, you're going to make me throw my stuff out. That's not entirely true. That quote represents my feelings and my approach as a professional organizer. Because it's not about getting rid of everything and then your life will be better. It's not about the stuff. Not really, right? It's about you. The stuff is just stuff. You are the one who places the importance on the stuff. Or you're the one who brings stuff into the space that you're living in. You're the one who, it's you. You're all the stuff is what we put on it. The stuff is just inanimate objects. A TV's a TV, DVDs are DVD. I mean, it's how much we feel about them. So getting rid of them also can be very emotional too, but it doesn't solve the problem. So I tell people, getting organized, get that out of your brain. You have to throw everything out. That's necessarily not it. Just organizing means you want to put stuff in its place and make place for stuff. It's about making decisions, then taking action or actions to give you a better life possible. It's about making your life easier. The stuff part is up to you, and your organization and removal of anything will depend on you and what you want in your life. So it goes back and forth. It's whatever you get rid of, whatever you keep, that's all on. Again, it goes back to you and your emotion, your feeling about it. But it may just be, and I've talked about this before, just finding maybe a better set of I can't get the words out, chest of drawers. It just may mean you need a toy box for the kids. That bin isn't working. It may mean you need a better system in the kitchen. I mean, it just means you got to maybe move stuff around. So it's not all about, again, like I said, when you think of organizing, it's all about hoarders. I mean, there are hoarders out there. As I only worked with like maybe 2 in my entire career. It's just people who have stuff and just disorganized. So I want to say that to everybody, that being organized doesn't necessarily equal throwing everything out, which doesn't necessarily equal suddenly my life's going to be better. So I want to make sure I say that. Now I want to talk about these next couple of things I want to talk about are when you live with others. Because actually I had some people tweet me recently about that. They said, do you have any advice on when you live with other people? Because, I feel one way, but then I have these kids or my husband or my roommate or my best friend. How do I deal with that? So I do have some advice. So I'm going to invite you to do some stuff, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Because you aren't alone. And the general overall picture that I want to paint is it's how you approach that will change everything. So whether it's your husband, kids, housemate, whatever, they say you should establish one rule. If you make a mess, you clean it up. If you can get everybody to agree to that, that's great. Now, people may say, yeah, I'll do it. Sure, yeah, I'll do it. But again, going to the commitment part, that second step really is important. It's like getting them to stick to it. I always believe that they always say catch more bees with honey than with vinegar or whatever. And it's just, bees like honey or they make honey. But the point is, how you say something to somebody will determine what they will do or not do for you in many cases. Screaming, hollering, yelling ain't going to do anything. People tune out after a while and already get defensive. In coach school, when I went to coaching school, we were taught to take certain words out of our vocabulary, which, I'm a big fan about that. And one of the words was why. It said, don't ask why questions. Isn't that funny? They're like, don't ask a why question, because the why question puts someone on defense naturally. So think about it. Why didn't you pick up the dishes and put them in the sink? You already feel defensive, kind of like, well, who are you telling me? Well, I was, you already got out 10,000 excuses, mouth ready to run already. Now, if you could say, can you put the dishes in the sink, or when are you putting, there's other words you can use. Or I'm about to do dishes, can you put them in the sink? Just whatever. There's ways you can say things where people go, oh, okay, and then they do it. That's just one example. But, there's ways to say stuff. There's also, we'll get more into that a little later too, but there's one thing you don't want to do, because you teach people how to treat you. That's one major thing I always talk about. So you get them to agree to clean up, but they don't. So that means you can't clean up. Because if you do, then suddenly they see that if they don't do it, she'll do it anyway, or he'll do it anyway. It's like, don't get mad, yell at them, then clean it up. And you keep doing that, it sets a pattern. I've been there, so I know that. And it just sets a pattern, and it doesn't really help anything. And you end up doing all the work anyway. You have to find a way to make everyone responsible for their own stuff. And you have to find a way to get them to, if you're a person who wants a house clean and organized, to get them to agree to clean it up now, not later. Because, you can always talk yourself out of anything. I'll do it in a second. I have to go tweet. I don't know. I have to go run outside and play with the dog. I mean, I don't know, whatever it is. I'm going to do it later. I'm going to do it. And then somehow you never do it. And that bowl of cereal will be sitting there all day. Again, it's all in the delivery. You want to, if you made the rule, then bring it back to that. Remember we talked about this, that you agreed that you would take that cereal bowl right after you're done and put it in the sink. And say it in a way that's just a reminder to them and not this accusatory tone. You got to watch your tone, which sometimes is hard. But you're letting them know you said you'd be responsible, and so I'm just bringing the words back to you. You agreed to do it. Just be matter of fact. No reason to be nasty or yell. You're basically sticking to the rules that you guys supposedly had set up. And that's kind of hard to argue with that, because then people are kind of like, well, I can't really argue with it. I did say I was going to do that. And then chances are they'll just do it, if they're a good person. But basically, it's all about repeating back to them what they basically agreed to. And it kind of keeps you less, so you don't get super stressed out. You're being matter of fact. There's nobody like, well, you lied. It's very simple. Stick to the facts. I'm a very factual person. I like facts. And so that's an exercise that I love doing. So we're going to go into here's some ways you can kind of maybe work on getting help with the household. As we said before, and I will say this probably till the rest of my unnatural life, getting organized is work. Getting cleaned up is work. And it takes commitment. It does. It's work. I'm not gonna give you any bull duty. It takes work and takes commitment. And for some of you out there, maybe you need a super organizer, a professional organizer that's in your neighborhood to come help you and motivate you. And that's a great thing, because we're trained, we're ready, we love what we do. We'll get you going. So there's an organizer for hire out there somewhere, I'm sure, at least near your neighborhood. And again, you can always contact me, tweet me, write me, whatever, if you need some assistance, because I have some great colleagues out there. But it is work. It's commitment. If you live alone, it's up to you, obviously. But when you live with other people, it gets a little trickier, a little harder, especially if you're the one who's leading the charge for change. Because you're the one who wants to change and you're trying to initiate it. They may not be in the same space you are, so it does get a little murky sometimes. So here are a few things you could try and see if that works for you. One, it's always in the delivery. Always. Always, always, always. Tone. Body language. You can't ask somebody to do something and roll your eyes at the same time. That doesn't work. Someone rolls their eyes at me, I'm done. Bye. See you later. And if you talk to me in a tone that's not pleasing to my ears, I tune out. I'm one of those people, I'm like, no, I don't even know what you're saying anymore. You're speaking like another language to me. So I suggest gently communicating why you are wanting the change. Start sentences with, I feel. Yeah, that's something, too, that's very important also. Talk from your perspective. Talk about from you. Saying, well, you always do this. And just say, I feel that I want this change. I feel this house is a mess. I feel I can't get stuff in the closet, and I want more space in the closet. And no one can really argue with you about how you feel about it. They can argue about all this stuff, but if you're saying this is how I feel, they really can't argue. But again, you're just communicating it to them. You're not trying to give attitude. You're talking about it. Because remember, you want change to happen. That's your goal. So you got to do whatever you can to get the change to happen. This is important too. Pick an appropriate time to talk about it. Not at a dinner table, at a party. Not on a lazy Sunday afternoon where you guys both had a long work week and you're watching football or watching Netflix. Because time together is very important. And so, you guys had a long week and you just want to hang out. Sometimes it's okay to have time off and hang out. Yeah, you can see the kitchen is overflowing and meeting you at the door, but you can get to that in a second. So make sure you know your audience and know, not when you first walk through the door from a long day from work either. Maybe you do it when you've had dinner, so you're full. Maybe you had a drink, just one, not two or three, because that gets a little sloppy. A little drink, take off the edge, whatever. And it's maybe mid-evening, and you start talking. If the person seems in a good mood, kind of bring it up then. Not when it's said, God, I've had a crappy day and, everything's gone wrong. You don't tear into why you want the sink cleaned. Who cares at that point? So you want to make sure you find an appropriate time for discussion. You don't do that at your 10-year-old's birthday party. Things like that. You just got to find time. And also, you want to negotiate, not demand. Because again, you want it to work. You want a solution. That's the end game. So you're going to ask for their help. Ask for their help in the organizing process. You are not their boss, and you want to make them feel included in this process together. That's very important. You're negotiating, not demanding. We're going to continue this discussion after a few moments of ad space. This is Super Organized Universe Radio, and we'll be right back.
With containers, there are a couple of things to be aware of. Containers can be heavy and get really hot. A solution I found is the Big Bag Bed from Smart Pots. They're lightweight. No, really, anyone from 3 to 93 can pick one up because they're made from an aeration fabric wholesale nurseries have been using for years. And they breathe, which is an important factor in developing stronger roots. Traditional containers don't do that. Grow this year's garden in a Big Bag Bed by Smart Pots. Found at your local nursery, garden center, and online at smartpots.com.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. My webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It was a clear black night.
What's up? This Warren G, you know what I'm saying? I'm here giving it up for RAD because they do a lot of good things for people. Before you drink, make sure that you got somebody that can drive your butt home so you won't crash or get pulled over and get a DUI. So go ahead and follow the rules and everything will be cool. And don't be no fools. Peace, baby. Warren G.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
You might know me, I'm 50 Cent. You may follow my tweets, my Facebook friends. Odds are fewer than 6 degrees separate us. We're that close. What's crazy is 1 in 6 don't know where their next meal is coming from. These are your co-workers, your neighbors, your friends. Hunger's too close for us to ignore. So visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank to see how you can make a difference. From one close friend to another, let's do this. I'm 50 Cent, and together we are Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Super Organized Universe Radio. I'm James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. And we're talking about getting help with the household, with some of the chores and organization. And we talked about it's all in the delivery. We talked about negotiating, not demanding. So we can go a little further. Here's something else that's very important. Because again, the end game is you want it to work. So this is the whole process. This is the lifestyle. Know that everyone works differently and at a different pace. Stay calm. If they decide to want to help and do this and you're showing them something, stay calm while showing someone how to do something in the process. It's very important. It's funny because everyone learns differently. Everyone receives messages differently, and it's very important to remember that and to take your judgment out. You go, well, I got it. I don't know why they don't got it right now. Why didn't they get it? Take that out, because you are somebody separate. You are you. I am me. We get things differently. Some people, it takes a little longer, but they get it. And then also with the working different pace, some people are really fast. I'm a fast person. A lot of my clients always laugh because I'm really quick, but I'm very thorough and cautious and all that. I'm not just fast to be fast, but I work fast. I have long arms, long legs. I can take 5 steps to some people's, 2. And so I kind of move fast. I'm also a very upbeat person, so I can't help it. But some people work a little slower. Some people work a little more methodical. Some people are very logical in thought. And there's just way they work differently. And if you're trying to get people to work, and then also age too is different too. There's different ages also. So if you have kids, you have to find a way to tailor chores to them. I actually have a chore chart on superorganizeruniverse.com, my blog. And I think also on my page too, that as the appropriate chores for different ages. So you got to remember that. Also, or if someone's a little older, you remember how fast can they move, what can they comprehend. So just remember that, everyone's different in their pacing. The point is it gets done, right? That's the point. Also, here's something that's very important. Now, there is a population out there who they always say is type A, or whatever, very aggressive. So I'm going to say this because it's very important. It may not be done exactly the way you would do it. But if the end result is what you want and how you like, celebrate it. Very important. You may show someone something and that person received the message, they know what the end result is, but they work better another way. And they still get there. The journey getting there is not really the problem, right? It's like you want the end result. You want a clean sink. That's great. Well, let them do it the way they want to do it. Maybe they want to wash the bowls first and the knives, or however they want to do it. Because you do it a certain way doesn't mean they have to do it the same way. Again, you're not their boss. So you're just trying to get them to help. So if they have dish duty, I always go back to dishes because I eat a lot and it's always dishes everywhere. Let them figure out the way that's best for them if they know and agree that the dishes need to be done after dinner. As long as they're clean and they work, that's what you want. So standing over them and saying, well, you didn't do it the right way. Why are you doing it that way? That's not going to help any. So you got to let go. And it's also important too in a lot of stuff in life, period. Compromise. You need compromise on when they do it sometimes. If your husband or spouse says he's willing to work on it after the basketball game is over, then let him do it. Let him watch the basketball game. Let him do it. Some people put importance on time, or they think the person is deliberately defying them because they're not doing it exactly when you say you should do it. If there are things that aren't time sensitive, and like dishes, as long as they're put away or clean before you go to bed, that's fine. There's many hours before you go to bed. So if they're watching a basketball game, or if kids have homework to do, let them do their homework. Let them take care of business. You gotta make an important phone call, make that important phone call. Then let them go and do it. So compromise on times that works for you guys. I always say if you do an end time, like, okay, make sure it's done by 10, make sure it's done by 5, that's fine. But then let them figure it out and do it. If a roommate works 2 jobs during the week and it says Sunday, because sometimes you decide to do a cleaning day. Like I used to live with 2 roommates, and we had agreed on it every Sunday morning was cleaning day. We clean the house Sunday morning. We get up early. Actually, he would make coffee. One would make coffee. The other one would get music on, and we would just clean to our heart's content. Clean the whole house, get it done. It took about 4 or 5 hours, but we were done. Like by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we were done. We had the rest of the afternoon, evening to party, whatever you want to do, lay around, and the rest of the weekend. But we agreed upon it. We were like, this day actually works for us in our schedule. So yeah, so if your roommate has 2 jobs during the week and has half a Saturday off, let them relax on Saturday. And it's just like, well, Sunday I could do it. Do it on Sunday. Do it on Sunday. Let her do it on Sunday. The best thing, or do her portion at least on Sunday. Maybe you'll do yours on Saturday, but let her do it on Sunday. Like maybe you're like your room and you do the bathroom on Sundays. I'll do the kitchen and my room and the common areas on Saturdays. Again, hold them accountable. So you agree to this, but the point is to compromise. Because again, you're not her boss or his boss. You guys are trying to work together as a team to get basically what you'd like to have, which is a nice organized space. And in terms of you want to organize or set it up at a certain time, it may be I'm available in 2 weeks. Well, then in 2 weeks you're available. If your roommate agrees, in 2 weeks we're going to go through the closets and organize. Then in 2 weeks you put it in and you hold that person to it. You hold them to it. Now, if an emergency happens, of course, you gotta let it go. But barring that, or if they communicate with you within 2 weeks and something comes up, because things do come up, then immediately get another date on there soon. Right? But the whole point is communication. The whole point is compromise. The whole point is negotiation. The whole point is delivery. So think about that. Those are just some, those things can be actually transferred to all parts of our lives, right? When a lot of times we get caught up in this is happening to me. What are you doing to me? Why is this happening to me? You're so mean. Get out of that for a second and try to think about how can I make this whole situation better and work so that we're all doing fine and no stress. So getting help from other people, like I said, can be a little rough. There's just a few things, main things you should think about. Everybody's individual and different, of course, and it may not work. And if it doesn't work, then you may need stronger help than that. But remember, again, back to you. It begins with you and your approach. Speaking of that, I have a quick little tip I want to pass out to you guys about teaching school-age kids and teenage kids. A little organizing trick. It's a little something that I shared and got a lot of hits on my blog. That was kind of fun. Let's do it laundry. Because we talk about dishes. What's the next thing that has a lot of stuff? Laundry clothes. Especially when you have kids. There's a lot of clothes everywhere. Sometimes they have school clothes, and we used to, as a kid, used to call them play clothes. So when we used to get home, we have to change our clothes. So the school clothes had to stay good, but the play clothes you can play in and get dirty and stuff. So there's like sets of clothes. And teenagers and kids can be really dirty too. So they have gym outfits and all kind of stuff. So here's one way to help get your kids to help in that laundry department, because you can teach them how to kind of do a few things to help you in the process. You can also teach kids how to do laundry too. I mean, that's also that. But if you're doing the laundry right now, here's one thing that can kind of help you along in the process. I say get one of those 2-compartment laundry hampers, or you can get 2 like cardboard boxes or 2 bins or whatever. Mark one light or white and make the other one dark or colors. Or you can transfer to other things, like make one shirts, one pants, or one school clothes, and the other play clothes or pajamas. You kind of get the idea, right? You just mark them whatever you think the easiest. Again, like I always say with last week's labeling, make sure everything is super simple that people remember. But the point is to have that so that when they are changing clothes, taking off clothes, whatever, they put them in the respective slots, so to speak, bins, boxes, whatever you have. And that's one way, so it's already sorted. It's not on the floor, and it keeps their room semi-clean, of course, because it's not on the floors. It's organized. And it's something easy you can teach kids. I mean, kids could do that. You can show a 3-year-old what's white and what's brown. I mean, you can just, you can tell them how to throw it in there. So that's something I wanted to share with you guys, because someone else brought that up too. Like, how do you, with small kids? Because people always think that it's you don't teach them anything until they're adults, but they got to learn somewhere. I was doing laundry at like 9 years old, so I knew what to do. So that's kind of a thing. Now, if you want them to do their own laundry, you can show them how to do it, and maybe you supervise it while you're home. Maybe you don't do it on their own until you feel comfortable with them doing it. But here's one step that kind of helps to keep the room less messy and teaches them a skill. This is something that's very important. Very, 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 very important. It makes up my nursing background, but it's very important. Proper storage of medications. As we see on TV, and as many of you are feeling wherever you live, it's hot. It is hot, hot, hot. Now, if you're like me, I take several medications every day. And storing them is very important. And they should not be stored where there's heat and humidity, because they can ruin medications, of course. It's just not good for you. And I've gone to so many houses of clients where it's just stored in the wrong, I almost said the wrongest. You know me, I how I make up words. The wrongest places. Won't say that. And I just want to kind of tell people, I think you should really look at where your medications are. One place that people, a lot of times, their medications are in the bathroom. It's actually not a really great place to keep medications. Unless you have a space that's really low and if you have no kids in the house can't get to you, that has a nice cool spot. Leaving them sitting out, leaving them high, leaving them out, it could totally get ruined from the shower. When you're running a shower, you can get humid. If you don't have the right ventilation, it can get really humid in the room. Sometimes you leave a window open in your bathroom and it's hot outside. I mean, here in LA, it's been hot. It's been no joke. And my house gets hot. What happens is when you leave medications out, it lessens their potency. And also even some kind of dietary aids too. I was reading about that, actually. Heat and humidity can really make a difference. One thing you can do, like if you have to keep some in the bathroom, is make sure that your bathroom has cabinet doors, that they close all the way completely. That's one way to kind of keep it in. Because you want them all stored in dry, cool places. One other thing that's kind of interesting, people don't think about so much, is you can keep them in the kitchen maybe. Now, it depends. The kitchen, too, it depends if you have a well-ventilated kitchen. Because sometimes turning on the oven can make it hot. And that could hurt also. But I know folks who have nice-sized kitchens where they have good ventilation. And since a lot of medications are actually meant to be taken with food, it's always a good idea to keep it in the kitchen. Because you could just do it while you're getting your food. Because you're not really, you don't eat in the bathroom. Well, I mean, I haven't in a long time. But, I don't eat on the toilet or anything. I eat in the kitchen or I eat in other rooms. So it's good to have the medications there. Some people keep medications in their bedroom, which actually I do. I have a drawer, a nice dry low drawer for medications that's in there. That's easy next to my bed that I can get to. So every morning I take my regimen of stuff so that I can live and be on the radio with you guys every week. It's all preserving me. I'm very well preserved. And I'm getting old. It's crazy. I think I take more medications than my great-grandmother did. I think she took one, and she's like 96. Like, not fair at all. So just think about it. Just really, really think about where your medications are. I want you all to be safe, and I want your medications to work so it keeps you whatever ailment or thing you have going on. So you want to keep it in a cool, dry place. Just think about where you're putting it. I have another tip because it is kind of summer is coming to an end, but garages are forever, and I'm going to talk about a way to organize your garage because I get a lot of questions on that too. And I'm actually going to do upcoming shows. I'm going to do a show on garage organization. It'll be the whole show. I'm going to have a special guest on, and we're going to talk about it because garages are an area that could be where dreams go to die. It's just like, oh, everything's in here. Oh, that's over there. Okay, I don't want to see it anymore. Put it in the garage. I used to love that sofa. Put it in the garage. Use it anymore. Oh, I used to love that. Put it in the garage. So a lot of times in my practice, garages aren't for cars anymore. They're for everything else. They're like mini junkyards in a garage. It's crazy. So you want to kind of, again, you have to throw everything out. But you can find a way to organize it. Now, I understand that there are different size garages, obviously, and you kind of have to work with what you have. But it is possible to have an organized garage. And it may take you taking some stuff out, but that's something else. But here's a couple of tips. So, like, if your objective is to make sure that one car can fit in the garage, then you got to make a plan to make enough space to achieve that goal. Because you may be like, I want to have a car come in, but also I want storage space. Garages can be great for storage space. So you got to really decide, going back to what we said earlier, assessing, the area, defining the problem areas, figure out what is going on in there. Like, what is in there? And then deciding what not to put back in there again. Because, again, it's going back to, why do I do this? How do I do this? What is going on? When did I do this? So the thing is, you don't want to buy items that you probably won't be using. Some people they'll get a treadmill because they want to start doing whatever. But if you're not really going to use it, don't buy a treadmill. Get a gym membership, or start walking. Exercise bike. These are all things that I see in garages that just sit there. They become coat hangers. It's like, if you really, be honest with yourself. I'm always saying be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Again, it's not about blame or anything. Just be honest. If you bought it, you thought we were going to use it, you got excited for a month, and then you were done, then yes, get rid of it. Or give it to somebody else. Or start using it again. But don't let it just sit there, of course. Because look in your garage. One thing you look in your garage is, are there a lot of large items? Because large items just take up space, obviously. And really, again, assessing your space, is there room for all these large items? Can you put them somewhere? Number 2, I am not a big fan of boxes in garages. But if you do, I'm more of a bin person. I'm more of a clear bin person, so you can see what you have. You label it, see what you have. If you have boxes in your garage now, go through them. Look at them. See what's in there. And some people believe in the rule, if you haven't used it in the last year, get rid of it. You don't need it. I believe that in some cases. I do believe that. But if you're saving stuff that's sentimental, maybe it's a different story. But if you do see stuff that you really haven't used and you're not going to use, I say pass it on. Pass it on. There are people out there who would probably love to use it. So pass it on to somebody else where it actually gets use. Donate it. Give it to a friend. Give it to your cousin. Whatever. Let's get those boxes down so there's not a lot of stuff. And maybe transfer those boxes into bins. And now also with bins, make sure you measure your garage and space. And if you have a couple of pieces of shelving, find bins that fit the shelving. Because there's nothing worse than having bins that overhang or are bulky and they don't fit your space. They have bins of almost every size and shape. I went to Target recently. Oh my God. I mean, they're down. I had my brother-in-law Rick and I had him looking at actual centimeter sizes because I was looking for a specific centimeter size that was going to fit perfectly for a client. And they were so close. There were some that were super close. They're like 58 by 64 and 58 by 68. And it was like that those few centimeters and meters and all that stuff, they really make a difference. But there literally is a size and shape. They have square, rectangle, circular. I mean, it's like there's deep ones and shallow ones and flat ones and ones with wheels. If you can't find bins that fit an area, I'm going to tell you. I'm just talking Target. I mean, I'm sure you can go to other places and like Costco or Home Depot or whatever. But I'm just saying Target, especially because they're very inexpensive, big lots too. They have them everywhere. You can find a bin that works for you. To have garage sales, but before you have garage sales or yard sales, make sure you know the rules of your city because some people you need permits. I think in Inglewood you need a permit. Where I live, you need a permit. So make sure you find that out, of course. Don't store large amounts of gasoline, propane, or other highly combustible materials in your garage. They are a known fire hazard. So a lot of times, too, they're big and bulky, so they take up a lot of floor or shelf space. Don't put items in there also that you kind of use and you're not using them anymore, and they could be flammable, and put them in the garage and have them just sit there. Not a good idea. Find a proper way to dispose. You can go online, find out how you can dispose stuff. Also, with old electronics, which aren't dangerous, but there's e-waste sites. Some storage units, places actually do e-waste also. They'll have a day, say every Saturday, bring down e-waste. Find out where you get stuff out the house. Stuff that's kind of broken, not being used, old electronics, old paints, old gas, all this stuff, just get rid of it. It shouldn't be in the garage. And if you have to keep some in the garage or some propane, because maybe you have a grill outside, just keep it to the minimum. Try your best just to keep it to the minimum. You don't want to keep a lot of stuff in there. Also, that old desk, that old entertainment center, especially for me from the 70s and 80s, those things were huge, huge console-looking things. They're all elaborate, and they were beautiful when you first bought them. But at some point, they broke down or got hurt from wear and tear. You don't have that TV with a tumor anymore because now you have flat screen TV. Don't put it in the garage. Don't. Do everyone a favor. Donate it. Some places you can put outside sometimes. I don't recommend that officially. But in some neighborhoods you can put outside and it's gone within 2 minutes. But if you put it in the garage, it's going to sit there. Now, you can repurpose things. Now, I have broken down entertainment centers and made them into stands and planters for my stuff outside. But the whole point is to find a way to, if you want to, don't put them in there. Find uses for them or give it away. Because they take up a lot of space also. Bookshelves. Unless you're going to put it back in the house at some point. But then you should really think about that while you're taking it out. Because then you should just put it to a space that you could use it immediately. But my point is, those things take up a lot of space too. We're trying to think of easy solutions to getting room in your garage. And basically what you're gathering from me right now is that bulky items should be taken out of the garage so you can have space. Right? That's kind of the thing there. But yeah, you want to get that stuff out of there. Now, bicycles, because the bicycling is in right now especially, they do have bicycle hooks. And they have racks. And those things actually you can hang up. And those are actually great ideas because they take things off the floor and they push them out of the way. Or they can be above you or whatever. So that actually is a great use of space. Because bikes just on the ground, they take up a lot of space, actually. It's kind of funny. I never really thought of that before until I saw a friend's bike. I'm like, my bicycle, I mean, it takes a lot of space up. So with kids and stuff, especially, you find a designated spot hook area and put it there. And so with the kids, you can also make it lower so the kids can get to it, so they can take it on and off too. And that's something that you can do for a garage. And also, one of the things I always talk about is find one wall or area that could be the storage area in the garage. Some people will do it all around, and that kind of doesn't create space. One way to really do this is to pick maybe the back wall or the left side or the right side and make that the area where everything will go. And maybe one way of looking at it is seeing the length of the wall. That can determine how much stuff you have or how high the wall is, how much stuff you can put in there. That could be your goal. Okay, once it overflows, that gets out of the garage. That could be something. You can always continually edit because you're looking there, continually edit the garage and see what's going on. So, garages, again, we don't want them to be the place where everything just goes in there to never be seen again, because chances are you're going to see, you go to the garage, you're going to see it. You know, and in some places of the country where there's snow and stuff, you want to park inside your garage, obviously. And this can also be used for carports. I know people have carports in some cities where they can be used for storage units too. Some mud rooms lead into a garage, or service ports leads into a garage. You should look at that area also and see what's going on, because you want the flow to kind of work. But like I said, I will have a future episode where we're going to talk about all kinds. We're going to give more tips and talk about all kinds of garage organization. Wow, this hour went by fast. I can't believe it. Another Super Organized Universe Radio is done. I can't believe this, kids. So thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I live in gratitude and thanks that you guys tweet me and write me and share and give feedback. Okay, so where can you find me? Black Hope LA and the Super O on Twitter. You can follow either one of those, and you'll get information from me. I have a YouTube channel which has all kinds of goodies on it, all my media stuff on it, and that is the Super Organizer James Lott Jr. I also have a Facebook page. I have a fan Facebook page, which is James Lott Jr., which you can follow my media exploits. And then, of course, the Super Organizer is on there, too. So you can follow stuff on here, and also showcase other colleagues of mine and things that I find out. I always share with you guys. I have my blog, thesuperorganizeruniverse.com, which gives tips every day, Monday through Friday, usually. Occasionally on the weekends I'll do a tip or two, but usually every day. So you can get all kinds of information that I've talked about on the show or haven't talked about yet. So you can go on there. And then, of course, the granddaddy of them all, my actual website page, thesuperorganizer.com. Recently I did some updates. I'm still working on it, of course, trying to fit it into my schedule, but I have worked on some stuff on there and put some more pictures and some updates, and I'll always be working on that. So you can check out any of those places for me. And then, of course, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on AdrenalineRadio.com. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.
Welcome back to Science Today. And the next caller is 9-year-old Philip. Hi. Well, I know the molecular formula for glucose, C6H12O6, and the general formula for an alkene is CnH2n plus 2. But I can't seem to find any scientific formula for Bob.
Bob?
My goldfish.
Are you ready for kids who eat healthy? Good nutrition can lead to great things. To find out how a healthy lifestyle can help your child succeed, go to mypyramid.gov. Brought to you by the Ad Council and USDA.